Hello and welcome to Dubai Trains. And today I want to talk about my next layout and actually the journey I took to get to this layout, because ironically enough, everything you're going to see in this video and the next one is not going to be on my next layout. But I wanted to share this journey as it might help you as well to come to terms with what it is that you really want and expect from your layout, because it might not be what you first think, to be honest. At least it was with me. So let's get started after this short intro. This video is made possible by the Dubai Trains Patreons. Check how you can become a member to unlock extra content. So this journey started about a year and a half ago when I asked myself the question, what would be my dream layout? And I came up with this diagram right here. As boring as it might seem, this diagram can actually fill an entire basement. This is going to be a high over video, so I'm not going to go through every little detail, as you'll see soon enough. So what are we looking at? It's basically just a junction yard. And to generate traffic from the junction yard, you need traffic coming in from, in my case, from the east and from the west. And I just set it up as a loop, and that's all sorted and classified for the branch line that's attached to it. But here, the option in the top, you would have a branch terminus at the end of the branch, and then the option at the bottom, you would have a terminus here at the junction yard. And then there was a wish list that I'm not going to go through right now, but if you want to read it, just pause your video screen and you can do so. Working this out a little bit, here you see the loop again, and then if there's enough space, I can have maybe an industry or a siding here on the main line. And then the branch line will obviously have some cities or villages on it. So one of the steps you want to do now, or I did, is to get an idea of how big is everything going to get. Because I wanted my maximum train length to be 8 cars plus caboose plus locomotive. I'm going to be realistic, I don't have space for a 20 or 30, 40 car train. It would be nice, but this is not going to happen in the near-term future. And then it's mostly about the length, because now you have determined your maximum train length, so you know how long your yard will be, and then how long your yard lead has to be, etc., etc. I also worked out this plan in its entirety in terms of traffic, just to get a sense of what kind of traffic flow and thus again yard size will I need. So that looks something like this. I'm not going to go in through this in detail because I made a whole separate video that you see on my channel. It's video here number 34 that goes through those charts and explains what I did there. So then what I normally do next is I design all the individual segments and then later try to puzzle it all together. So here with segments, I mean, like as you see here, this would be the yard. Those different variants I made. And the most important information for now are these green bars here on the top. These are pieces of 1 meter or roughly 1 yard. So you see this whole section right here is 1, 2, 3, almost 4 meters. So that is quite a long stretch, and that's even excluding some kind of 24-inch curve to get onto the stretch, and then on the other side to get around the bend, not to hit the wall again on the other side. So already here there was some small alarm bells wrinkling in the back of my head, like, ooh, can we really model this? How much space are we going to need? Then again, for the staging, not that exciting, but a good exercise to do. And here we have the different towns, villages, because I knew I want to have 3 towns, A, B, and C would be a stub end station. And I just started putting some ideas in what I wanted and how it could all work out. And just thinking about the scenery and the scene as well. What would your station be? What it would look like? So here would have the main line, and then the station would be here on the siding. Then there'll be one spur going behind the station. So that's a really inherently different scene that if the station would be on the other side of this track. So that kind of high overthinking that I was doing. And here will be station number D, so you come in from this side, and then here will be a large brewery. Everything's thought out to work well, how the train comes in, how you would switch the industry, and how would you depart again. And here's another variant where the main line would go here north-south, and you would come off to this stub end area with a Y. That would be really cool, but you need quite a lot of space for that. But again, if you have a peninsula, that would fit very nicely. So these spaces were quickly adding up in my head, and I didn't really think it was all going to fit at some point. So if we go back to the main chart, it's basically a loop with the yard action on one side and then a branch line. So I was thinking, what if I just leave the branch line out and just get this yard action with the main line coming in and then another staging for the branch. Then this design pops up, and it's exactly that. It's just a giant loop with your yard right here, and I think I even left out the branch here. I didn't even draw it in yet. Staging in the back, so here you see the same. You already have a loop, but I just stopped this at some point. This is not really what I wanted. I didn't want to go this way. I don't want a track plan like this. So to get a grip of the space, because the whole conundrum is I don't know the size of my next layout room yet. So that's a part of the story. So I started thinking, well, how much space, what size do I need? So I just came up with some different room sizes and drew in some different arrangements, so to speak. I'll just see them here. I don't want to go through them. They look like a big spaghetti bowl mess, and maybe they are. But just trying to fight the space and get everything in there. So one plausible idea that came out is this. It's a twice around the room, all at the same level, where you see the yard here in the north, and then you just go all the way around, and then you'll get your station. A is the main station, that's how it was, and then B would be here, and then you go all the way around. There'll be some C here, maybe if there's space for that, go all the way behind A, do a loop, and then come here to D, which would effectively be the end of the line. But I did make it a loop all the way around, so you can do some continuous running. But yeah, this is not what I wanted. Somehow it is, but it isn't. I didn't mind all this trackage and the wiggly bits, but the storytelling, going from A, B, C, D, and then twice around the room to get some distance in between it, that just didn't seem right. It's not prototypical enough. I do want to drift more towards that side. So this is not what I wanted. And then I saw this video. And this is the moment we're going to cut to part 2 of the prequel of my next layout, inspiration.